He's good, but a bit overrated. Probably the best part of the movie is J.K. Simmons, and he doesn't show up that much. I remember Green Goblin being in it longer, but he only had like 20 minutes of actual screen time versus his actual Norman Osborn portrayal. And Harry Osborn was pretty bad. James Franco is a great actor, but he is not it for Harry Osborn. Harry was a really good friend to Peter in the comics. In this, he's just like super rude to him. Literally, his second scene when they're in the field trip science lab shit, exactly from the comics, because this one actually does take a lot of stuff from the comics, but Andrew is like the most accurate Spider-Man anyway. When they're in the science lab thing, Peter's talking to Harry, and he tells him this fact, and then Harry's like, "Oh, who cares about it?" Then he goes and talks to MJ and tells her the same fact, says that Peter was listening, and makes a face like, "Oh shit, he heard me." He's just kind of a dickhead in this movie. Like, in the comics, Harry has a bit of anger and he's sort of like his dad, but he tries not to be like his dad. He sort of defends Mary Jane when Norman's being rude to Mary Jane, well, talking about her rudely. But then he goes in there and just makes fun of Mary Jane. No, he doesn't know that Mary Jane literally kissed Peter 2 times. One was when they were still dating. The second time was they never officially broke up, like on screen, but they probably did when Harry saw Peter holding Mary Jane's hand. And that still doesn't make sense because later at his funeral, they're still friends, and he says Peter's his only family, so. Spider-Man's supposed to be funny. He makes jokes every now and then. This version of Spider-Man is just kind of serious. I don't know how he fell for Norman's plan. I think Norman actually kind of planned his death, but at the same time I don't. Like, he became insane and almost everything is for his benefit, right? Killing the board members, killing the military guys that keep trying to shut him down. So later he be nice to Harry because Harry like tells him something about MJ. So he hugs him. Later he gets killed. Almost immediately. He tries to kill Spider-Man. Spider-Man dodges and he has a shocked look on his face. So obviously he didn't know that Spider-Man had spider sense. But yeah, it's just a bit of a dumb theory. It just kind of seems like that. Why would he just start to be nice to Harry when everything else he's been doing since he became Green Goblin was for his benefit? Harry Osborn's definitely overrated as him, but yeah, this Spider-Man's actually pretty good too. He makes jokes every now and then, but in reality, Spider-Man makes jokes every time he's fighting. Unless it's like a serious moment where he's trying to like protect his friends or family or shit like that. But they did add like the whole cameras taking pictures of him while he's fighting as Spider-Man, but only for like one scene. They expect us to just know that the camera's there after that. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this movie, but it's a good movie. I'm probably gonna be watching Spider-Man 2 later. And watching both the Andrew movies. I don't own the Tom Holland movie since I don't like him. I've only seen Homecoming. and Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame is what I've seen him in. I plan on baby watching Far From Home. What else? Harry didn't even try and defend Spider-Man. I mean, Peter, when he was getting attacked in school by Flash, the dude just watched. He was like, oh, he's dodging a few punches and he did a backflip. He's fine. Yet, and I'm pretty sure it was Spider-Man 3, he says, I protected you in high school, now I'm gonna kick your little ass. Not a very good line when you didn't protect him. Sure, that was like his last year in high school and we didn't see the other three, but still doesn't really make much sense. And I also don't like when people hate on actors because they're like too old for a role. It doesn't really make sense. You pick an actor because you think they're gonna be good for the role. And do you really expect people to find someone that looks like a high schooler? And a real life high schooler probably won't be able to fit a time into movies when movies take months and months. And some of you in the comments will go, well, you know, they could always film the movie in summer. Summer is way too short to film a whole movie and the movie actually be good. No high schooler is gonna have the time to film a movie. Actors are actors. They are pretending to be a high schooler. They don't actually have to be a high schooler. They gotta pretend to be what the director tells them to. They tell them to be Spider-Man, they be Spider-Man. They're not gonna turn into a 15-year-old just for the fanboys. And I think Tobey Maguire looks just fine in the first movie, especially since he literally graduates in the first movie. Andrew, it kind of looks more like a college student, yeah. But he graduates on the second movie, so it's not a big deal. Most people skip the origin story movies anyway. But yeah, it was a good movie though. Though there was that one scene that I laughed at how bad it was. When Spider-Man saves MJ from Green Goblin. You can tell that it's just like a doll dressed as Spider-Man since he's not even moving. And they're so zoomed in close. Trying to make you think it's Tobey in the suit, but it's not. Also, since Green Goblin usually only killed people that he didn't really like and he had a problem with, why did he try to kill MJ when he was just killing the board? That didn't really make sense. Would have made a lot more sense if Green Goblin was like fighting the board and Spider-Man tried to intervene. But no, he just killed all the board with like one pumpkin bomb and then attacked Mary Jane for no reason. But yeah, it's a good movie.